So hello and welcome to another beginner basics. Today we're going to talk about horizontal or horizontal even and vertical. Horizontal, vertical, landscape, portrait. Does that make sense to you? If it doesn't, watch this video and it'll explain everything. But I'm going to go back to the past, to where I started, not the end, to where I am now, explaining the beginning of the video, if you know what I mean. I've done other videos, beginner basics, I've done ISO, I've done shutter speed, I've done aperture for you, and I've also tried to explain the exposure triangle. I'm going to do basic compositions, rule of thirds and stuff like that. I'm going to do a little selection of beginner basics videos. They'll come out over the next few weeks. This is one of the later ones. All the other ones are already out, and links will be going up in the description for you, in the description down below and up in the corner as I'm talking. So yeah, come and have a quick look at this one. If you need beginner basics on horizontal landscape or vertical portrait mode, or position, shape, direction, angle, whatever you want to call it, see if I can explain the difference. Not everything works in both, sometimes it does, but I'm in the woodland and it makes it a little bit easier. So speak to you in a bit. Hello and welcome out on another one. I'm in the woodland. I was in last video. I thought I'd carry on and do another video because the conditions are quite nice and I could probably talk about something else. I thought I'd try and talk about horizontal and vertical. Does that make sense? So that's portrait or horizon, something like that, or portrait or landscape, sorry. So that's having the camera this way up, which is portrait, vertical, or this way, which is landscape, horizontals. Now I normally say horizontal or vertical because that's the way I work. But you call it whatever you want to call it. To me it's a vertical position, portrait position when I'm taking portraits. Now the tree in front of me is a big V oaky type twisty sort of thing. I've got a little bit of mist, a little bit of fog, but it is starting to disappear now. So in fact there's not a lot left whatsoever. So I'm going to try and take a few images, and I'm going to take 2 or 3 just to show you the difference between shooting horizontal and vertical. Now this is a prime example. So while the mist is going, I'm going to take one in a horizontal shot, in a vertical shot, sorry. So the camera's set up this way, which means the camera's shaped like a portrait, sort of thing your iPhone would see and stuff like that. Which is quite a nice sort of position for this tree because you've got these nice twisty branches going up. So I've closed in on the tree and isolated the tree in that particular shot. So if I take my camera now and unclip it and then take it off and flip it over, you can see that straight away the difference in the image changes on the back of the camera. So can I get close enough so you can see? So there's your shot there. And if I flip it over, the image changes altogether because I'm now introducing this tree on the right hand side. So from horizontal, so vertical, I'm just keeping the tree nice and isolated on its own. Flip the camera over and you can now see that on the right hand side you're getting the other tree introduced into the image. So let's clip that onto my tripod like so. Now for this I would probably tend to go slightly wider. As you can see on the back of my camera, I'd go slightly wider having in a horizontal, and I keep pushing that with me back of my hand, and I'd introduce probably both the trees because you can't isolate the tree. I just slack my tripod off. You can't isolate the tree on its own in a, well you can, but you're introducing a lot of stuff over on the left hand side. So let's do that for instance, and let's just take that just to show you what that would be like. So I'm going to come over, focus on the branch again just in case I've moved anything. There's my tree taken as a horizontal shot. But personally I think you'd get more interest by having this extra tree and having the 2 trees in at the same time. So there's my 2 trees in, and I'm going to focus this time on the one in the foreground. No, I won't. I'll leave on the focus on the background, and that way it should just mute this front one out a little bit. So there's a difference between that horizontal and vertical. Now you can also unflick the camera. You shouldn't be doing this one-handed. Right, let's put the camera back on there. Now what I can do, get rid of that, is I can have a look at this one. And you can see now I've got another tree that would work in a vertical, which is that foreground tree, that wouldn't work in a horizontal so much. So I've taken 4 images, all of this same scene, one that way, one that way, one taking it all in, and then one this way. So I've taken 4 images of that little section there in a vertical and a horizontal. So right, I'm going to find another image and see if we can do the same thing again to explain the difference. Now let me know what you prefer. Do you prefer those horizontal ones or the vertical ones? Now the mist has gone, like I say, I'm now not in the mist anymore, but I'm going to try and find you another image, if I can, that's got a good vertical and horizontal in it, and see if it works. Oh, the woodland, I do love the woodland. Right, let's work on another one for you. Right, so I've got another one. Now this shot, look at this. This is definitely a horizontal shot, a landscape orientation. You couldn't shoot this in a vertical, it just wouldn't work. Now let me show you the back. This is what we got. So as you can see here, we've got the trunk coming down this side, and look at all these branches radiating out across the image this way. Now if I still had the fog behind it, that would be fantastic, because it would mute out all them back trees and you just get all these nice green branches. But this is definitely a horizontal shot. Now I'm going to take this at f6.4 just to make sure I get all the branches in. Let's just turn that round. 6.4 down there, ISO 160, and I'm not worried about the shutter speed because there's no movement. 2-second timer on. This is definitely a horizontal, as you can see. You could even probably crop this down and make it a 16:9. So let me flick the camera now. I'm going to unclip it. I had to stop then, something was behind me. So I'm going to unclip it. Excuse me while I mess around with the camera. Now you can see here that this would probably not work anywhere the same in a vertical image. Now I say that but because you've got so much going on above the tree, this might actually work as a horizontal as well, so as a vertical as well. So I'm going to zoom in this time. Again, your opinions. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to focus on the trunk, and then I'm going to hit the shutter. Now I will have to fine tune this. I think ideally by going into a vertical, I'd have to lift the camera up higher so it's somewhere up there, and that way I can lose the canopy at the top. So I will, oh excuse me, I will set this up and I'll take the two shots, horizontal and vertical. Now I did say this wouldn't work as a vertical, but I lied to you. I think it does, but from a higher angle. I'd have to get over this branch and shoot down. But again, look in the comments, let me know in the comments, is it a horizontal or is it a vertical? Personally, with the fog behind it, I think it's a horizontal image all day long, but you can actually break it down and make a vertical out of it. So yeah, another interesting one. Didn't think that would work until I flipped the camera around, so it just goes to show, try it, you really don't know. So you get the camera off the tripod and you hold it like so. Let's have a look. Sorry. So you hold it like so, and you look at it, and then you flip it around and you look at it. Yes, you'd have to zoom in probably and try different things, but you can flip it around and go for a vertical or a horizontal. Easy, isn't it? You've just got to try these things. Okay, so one more. This will be the last one, then I'm heading home because I've been out for quite a while. This to me is definitely all day long a vertical shot. It's not at all. It's not, I lied. This all day long is a horizontal shot. I'm confusing myself now. This is the tree. Okay, so you've got this big solid trunk going up the middle with all these branches coming out. Now there's a lot of light in the canopy up there because there's no foliage on the tree, and then the branches are going out to the right and out to the left, but more dominantly out to the left. So flip you around and look at the camera. So if you see on the back of the camera, you can see that I've got the trunk on the right hand thirds, and then predominantly the branches are going out to the left this way rather than out to the right. So it's a horizontal shot for me. It works going this way, so you can see behind it works going this direction rather than this direction. But again, I'll take the image and I'll let you decide. There's the first one. And now I'm going to unclip it and try not to drop everything again. Unclip it, flip it round, and you can see again there's your horizontal. If you flip it round, there's your vertical. You can see that you're getting a lot more sky in. So the horizontal, I don't really want my ugly mush in the camera, do you? But there's the vertical. So we'll clip the vertical back on, like so. Just balance it, I'll clip it back on. And then we'll just home it in. And again, this to me just does not work as a horizontal because you're not getting any of the branches in. So I'll take it as a horizontal, as a vertical. I'm confusing myself now. I'll take it as a vertical just so I can show you the difference, but for me it just doesn't work in that orientation. You might be able to introduce these rocks in the foreground and try and use that as a composition. I can always add that for you and zoom in, and I'll focus on the rocks in the foreground. This is a slightly different one. So you can see there that by changing my perspective slightly, tilting the camera down now, so the camera's tilted down, I'm picking up these rocks and then the trunk. So I've got some foreground interest in the tree. Now that might work if I get the camera down lower, but I don't think it works as well as the horizontal image. So there's a vertical and a horizontal for you. Again, nice and short little video, bit of beginner basics type of thing, and yeah, hopefully that works for you. Gives you an idea of just changing your camera around. A lot of people keep their camera in that horizontal landscape mode, and it doesn't always lend itself. Landscape's landscape. It doesn't matter whether it's a horizontal shot or a vertical shot. It really doesn't matter. Vertical's good at picking up these foreground interests, so you can actually add stuff to the bottom of the image, especially if you've got a nice wide angle lens. But just definitely in the forest and woodland, you don't have to keep the camera in one way round. You know, look around and see what works. So yeah, beginner basics for you: horizontal and vertical, landscape or portrait, whichever you want to call it. And yeah, till next time, don't forget to check out my aperture, my shutter speed, my ISO beginner basics, and also exposure triangle. I'm going to do loads of Compton style, very simple beginner basic videos. And you never know, you might pick a tip up or you might not. Depends what you know about photography. I'm not a master in it all, but I've been doing it a long time. So yeah, till next time, ciao for now. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Check out this morning's video before the fog cleared. Absolutely beautiful photographs. See you soon. Bye.